Welcome back, everybody, to another deck profile video here with Chris from CC Data Center Elites, and I'm bringing you guys a fun Gotenks build that I haven't got to test too much, but I'm really excited to. Uses some of the new cards from the expansion set, as well as obviously the Gotenks engine as well, and some other fun cards. I think this deck can be pretty good. I'm going to edit this variation of the deck in the future, the more and more I play it, to see what I really like with it. But make sure you guys like and subscribe. Let me know what you guys think of this deck idea. Give me some pointers down below if you guys have some cards you guys would like to throw into this deck. And yeah, we'll break it into the video. So what Gotenks does, Gotenks is basically the new version of the Broly leader that was errated maybe 2-3 formats ago. And what this card does is when you attack, you draw a card from your life, and then you draw a card from your deck. So you have Self-Awakening built in, as well as just being able to draw. And this leader himself is extremely good when it comes to playing against decks that use extra cards, because every time your opponent activates an extra card, you get to draw a card once per turn. That's both on your turn and your opponent's turn. So if they decide to negate, they can do that. They decide to use an extra card to boost up their power, you draw a card. Now at 4 life, you get to restand 2. And on this side, Gotenks really starts to take into effect. So what this card does it still creates value, maybe not as much, but it's value in a different way. So this card draws every time it attacks. Once per turn, whenever your opponent activates an extra card, you draw a card, and then you get to choose one of your opponent's battle cards and put it in rest mode. That's once per turn. So that's on your turn and your opponent's turn. So you can tap down a attacker. You can also tap down a blocker or a combo piece on your turn. Now, also once per turn, when you activate Union Fusion, this card gets 5k and crit for the turn, which works really well with the Gotenks engine in this deck. So for the deck here, we do have some Self-Awakeners that we run in the deck because we want to awaken as quick as possible. So we have 2 of the crit Gokus and 2 of the double strike Gokus. I like running splits of particular cards, especially Self-Awakeners. These are really for Unisons, and this is going to be for the leader. So you run 4 of those. Try to keep throwing my cards here. 4 of the Searcher Vegeta. This allows us to search top 5 for a 2-drop yellow Unison or a Saiyan 3 or less. So we have 4 of those. I run 2 Universe 9 Assemble for some drawing power, as well as 4 of the Basils as targets. This card allows me to draw 1. I only have 1 of them on the field, but when it plays, it draws, and then if our opponent has 5 more cards in rest mode, this card gains 15k in dual attack till the start of my next turn. So on my opponent's turn, this will be a 19k, but we can use this to basically hammer down Unisons to get them out of the way. 4 super combos. In this particular deck, we're running mono yellow, so I want to use the Counter Blast Son Gohan. When we play this card, we tap down one of our opponent's battle cards. And then when we combo with this at 4 life, we either can draw, or if it's on our turn, our opponent has 5 more cards in rest mode, we actually can choose one of our opponent's battle cards 5k or less and KO it. That's just kind of a cool extra effect, but being able to play this out, tap down a card, and then combo with it to gain 10k and draw the card, it's pretty good. For fusion pieces, we run 3 and 3 of the Brilliance cards. So Goten and Trunks. These cards can be pulled back from the drop area if we drop a yellow card. So these are the only fusion targets that we run. And ironically, the only Gotenks that we run is the 7-drop. We don't run the other 4 drops, just for deck space. This here, when you play this, you drop a Goten and a Trunks GT from your hand to the drop area, draw 2, and then you choose one of your opponent's battle cards in rest mode, ignoring barrier, negate its skills, and then KO it. So you can pop anything that's in rest mode, which is really nice. And then this has dual attack and double strike, and when we play this, our leader gets 5k and crit. So remember that. For Unisons, we run 4 Gogetas, no more, no less. It's actually the only Unison we run in the deck. Works really well with this leader. When all your energy is in rest mode, your leader gets 5k for your opponent's turn, so it's basically a bean. When our opponent activates an extra card, we get to add a marker to this. So lots of synergy with the leader there. +1, you may drop two yellow cards to the drop. If you do, you can draw 2. Now this says you may, so you can activate this +1 without dropping any cards. You just don't get to draw, which is fine. Sometimes you don't want to lose cards in your hand, but you do want to plus this every turn. And then the -4, you can choose 4 for your during your opponent's next charge phase. They can only restand 2 energy. This effect works really well if all of their energy is tapped already. If they still have like 4 or 5 energy up at the end of your turn, it's kind of a waste. So you want to try and make them use as many resources as possible. I don't run the Bergamo in this deck, which would be the ideal target for this card because you can tap down energy with it, and it's a really strong card, but we run 4 of these. We do want to run some of the Unison counterplays, so we run 4 of the Vegetas. Tap downs a battle card being played. And it can come out for free if you have a Unison with 2 more markers. And now we have a 14k blocker on board. It's really difficult for our opponent to play around. 2 Release from Evil, another card that's really hard to play around. Choose the attacking card and remove all of its skills for the turn, ignoring barrier. It can come out for free if you have a Unison. This is an extremely good card. Don't be like me. Get a playset of this card if you don't have it already. If you're going to be playing yellow at all, the card's super, super good. For some extra cards, I run 3 Time Magic and 2 Nimbus. Just for some extra card negates are also 1-drops, which is really helpful in this deck. 4 Raiders Warcry. Thank God for the anniversary box, because I was not going to spend the money on this card, but now that it's much more affordable, this card's great. You tap 2 energy. When you combo with it, you get to play it out afterwards. This card comes into play, taps a card, taps a battle card, and then draws you a card. Now you have a 20k double strike on board. It's more easy to deal with now in the meta, but the card's still really good. There's almost no reason not to play it. It's a really good card. Then we run for the Bardox from the anniversary box. This guy is kind of a mini Raiders Warcry. You combo with it for 1, and afterwards you get to play it. No onboard effect, but it has crit and blocker. And now it has a really unique permanent, which kind of hinders most decks, is that you can only play, once this card's on board, you can only play mono yellow Saiyans. And most of our deck is mono yellow Saiyans. So obviously, we have the Vegeta, which you can play. Gotenks. Either the Trunks, if you're going to play that out, or the Goten. Your super combo still counts. Your Searcher. And then both of the Self-Awakeners. The only battle card you can't play so far is the Basil, because he's not a Saiyan. From the ruling, this means you can't play Unisons, because you can only play mono yellow Saiyan cards. So I don't think the Gogeta counts as a mono yellow Saiyan because it doesn't have a character trait. But also because it does have a character trait, it doesn't fulfill the requirement of it, so it can be played anyways. Not sure how that ruling is yet. Card has been out long enough and played enough for us to know, so hopefully we'll find out. And then I run this awesome combo with the Shinran and Ultimate Blow. So this secret rare here is pretty cool. I could just use the Gogeta or Smoke Dragon or something, but I wanted to make this a mono yellow deck, and since I don't own the Gotenks secret rare, figured might as well just throw this card in. So what the Shinran does is its power is reduced by 1 in your hand for each card in your drop area that has an energy cost of 1. So any card that has an energy cost of 1. So I will count real quick what we have, just so you guys can see the consistency purposes. So we have 4 there. You have 2, 8, 12, 14, 16, 15, 22. So pretty close to half of our deck are 1-drops. Obviously, this doesn't make him free, but this just means he can get reduced down to being a 1 cost. So once he hits the board, he has Deflect. So he's going to hit the board. There's not a card in the game that can stop him from hitting the board. And once he hits the board, he can't be removed by your opponent's skills. So Frieza, so any of that kind of stuff does not hit him. They can play it and choose him, but it just doesn't do anything. Now, once he's on board, he has Blocker, and he cannot be removed, as I said, by your opponent's skills. When this card activates its Blocker skill, you can switch it back to active mode, and it gets minus 5k. This is an auto, so you can do this as many times as you want until he dies. Now, the awesome part with this ultimate blow card is that when your opponent plays something, you can counterplay, play this, and now he gets 10k in revenge for the turn. So now he becomes a 45k, and when your opponent swings, you block, restand, he gets minus 5k, and then that card dies. So it's pretty cool. It's a really interesting interaction. This deck is made to be very defensive, and then just trying to spam the board with double strikers, from my Gogeta to the Bardock Raider's Warcry, and we kind of just play around that. But I'm not sure how this deck is going to perform yet. I haven't really played it too much. Played it a little bit on tap and just kind of decided to build it because I wanted to mess around with this because I don't really play a lot of yellow. So I wanted to just kind of see how it's going to play. Make sure you guys let me know what you guys think. Like and subscribe. Hit the bell for all the notifications. And I'll see you guys in the next video.